Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. The name is Stone Man, and this is Late Nights. Today, I have three scientific articles for you. These are articles that I handpicked and that were suggested to me. Um, and they are all reflections of positive things coming from our science community. We're going to start out with somewhat of a banger. It's about deer. And what's fascinating about this is that we know a lot about deer. We've always seen them around. We've always hunted them. We've always known who they are and what they do. But today, we discovered something new about deer. Coming from this article by Olivia Milloway on the Wildlife Society website. Deer marks glow in the dark. Deer eager to mate don't leave much to interpretation, as long as you know what to look for. They leave traces that literally glow. While scientists have long known the basics of curved courtship behavior, they never quite captured the full story. By using special flashlights, they discovered that deer scrapes and rubs glow under ultraviolet light. While scientists haven't yet confirmed exactly how the deer are seeing these messages, they may be another way for bucks and does to find their perfect match. We're talking about how deer see the world, said Daniel DeRose Brocart, a doctoral student at the University of Georgia and lead author of a recent study investigating deer and UV light, and how anything sees the world has impacts on the decisions they make, what they eat, where they go, and how they perceive danger. DeRose Brocart's findings, which he described in a recent paper published in Ecology and Evolution, are just the most recent installment in a long list of studies from UGA's Deer Lab that have uncovered some of the secrets of how deer see the world. From the lab's past work, DeRose Brocart knew that white-tailed deer are sensitive to shorter wavelength light, the kind of light responsible for blues, purples, and UV light. Humans can't see UV light because we have lenses that filter out those wavelengths. But deer eyes have different structures. It's not confirmed, but common sense would tell you that UV light helps deer see, DeRose Brocart said. He wondered if deer, like other animals, use UV light to communicate with one another. It's been long known that bucks rub their antlers on trees during the rut season. Both bucks and does scrape their hooves in the ground and urinate into the scrapes to communicate with other deer in the area. Hang on one second. Both bucks and does scrape their hooves in the ground and urinate into the scrapes to communicate with other deer in the area. See, that was kind of cool. While the bucks are making their territory and letting their presence be known to other males, females are signaling that they're ready to mate. Everyone's sniffing and checking who might be in heat, he said, and everyone's sniffing to see who's the big man in the woods. It's like the Kroger Bulletin Board of the Forest, he said, which is a grocery store chain common in the US South and Midwest. But marks that engage more of the senses, those that look good and smell good, would likely be more enticing than smell alone. DeRose Brocart took to the woods to search for evidence to back up his hunch. During the day, he and his team searched for deer scrapes and rubs in Whitehall Forest, a plot of land near UGA's campus in Athens, Georgia. He returned to the signposts at night to measure their photoluminescence, or glow under UV light. He used a spectrometer, an instrument that measures the amount and wavelength of light that a surface emits. In total, he looked at 109 antler rubs and 37 scrapes, and found that both of these markings produced a significant glow under UV light. He also found that the fresher a rub, the more intensely it glowed. Through processes like photo bleaching, photoluminescence qualities can get weaker when exposed to the elements. DeRose Brocart also found that scrapes made before the rut season were less bright than ones made during the rut season. That could be caused by a few different things, he said. None of the scrapes prior to the rut had urine in them, at least that I could detect, he said. He detected the urine first by seeing it under the UV flashlight, then confirmed it was urine by giving the scrapes a good sniff, the way a deer would. Urine is also photoluminescent under UV light. DeRose Brocart said the urine looked like spilled white paint under his UV flashlight. Gross. But when bucks make rubs and scrapes, they also deposit smelly secretions from glands on their head and hooves. Some of the compounds known to exist in these secretions glow under UV light in laboratory settings, although DeRose Brocart is investigating this more in the wild. When bucks rub their antlers on trees, the wood itself may add to the glow. Each species of tree looked slightly different under the UV light, reflecting UV light in different ways. However, the case isn't closed on whether the glow comes from the tree itself or the deer secretions. Comparing scrapes on the ground and rubs on the trees, he said that rubs are like highway reflections because they're much more visible than scrapes and are often found along a deer path. It's not uncommon for you to find them in a line going one direction, he said. With scrapes, a deer would have to be more or less on top of them to see the urine. Seeing like a deer. DeRose Brocart said his first thought was to apply his findings to deer fencing. Sometimes deer can get stuck trying to jump over fences, but if the deer can see UV photoluminescence under natural lighting conditions, people might be able to make the top of these fences more visible to deer in a way that isn't aesthetically unpleasing for a property owner. He also thinks these findings can be used in designing camouflage that won't be enhanced by UV light. But he's still not sure if deer are seeing the UV light the way we do and if the UV light markings degrade over time. Shining a flashlight at something isn't the same as what's out there in the real world, he said. But similar to deer, DeRose Brocart sees the world differently than most other humans. He's very colorblind. With his own unique view of the world and his new research, DeRose Brocart might be one of the people to most fully understand a deer's point of view. Archaeologists identified traces of children's fingerprints still visible on clay beads created 15,000 years ago. This article is coming to us from Sanja Anderson from the Smithsonian Magazine, March 24th, 2026. Archaeologists in Israel have analyzed a trove of clay beads and pendants, sculpted by hunter-gatherers 15,000 years ago. According to a recent study published in the journal Science Advances, these artifacts suggest that humans in this region were using clay symbolically thousands of years earlier than scholars thought. This discovery completely changes how we understand the relationship between clay, symbolism, and the emergence of settled life, says lead author Laurent Davin, an archaeologist at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, in a statement. The 142 ornaments were found at 4 sites associated with the Natufian culture. These are a lot of words that I will try to pronounce, but I will pronounce them wrong. Elwad, Nahal Oren, Hyonim, and Einen Malaha, across 3 millennia. Inhabitants of these sites shaped the small beads by hand into cylinders, discs, and ellipses. Traces of organic plant fiber identified on some of the beads suggest that they were worn on strings. Many of them had also been decorated with red ochre using a technique known as engobe, a thin layer of liquid clay smoothed onto the surface, per the statement. This is the earliest known use of this coloring technique anywhere in the world. The clay ornaments are covered with fingerprints, palm prints, and fingertip depressions, according to the study. Some of these markings appeared to have been made by children. For example, the researchers think that a child pinched one elliptical bead at the moment when the wet clay was pressed directly onto the thread, as they write in the study. Children were also manufacturers rather than just curious onlookers. Previously, scholars assumed that clay didn't serve an ornamental purpose for Natufian groups during this period, and only 5 clay beads from this era were known to exist. But the sheer number and diversity of beads and pendants suggests that clay had become a medium for a visual communication long before it was used for bowls or jars, according to the statement. The Natufians were one of the world's first cultures to settle in one place. Becoming villagers for the first time changed their perception of the world, of the environment, and of their own identity and how to express themselves. The researcher identified 19 bead shapes in the collection of clay ornaments. Some of these shapes resemble foods the Natufians collected and ate, including barley, lentils, peas, and flax. Those foods would later become the backbone of agriculture. These new shapes, which emerged at the dawn of village life when wild plants were intensely gathered, suggest that plants were also important in the symbolic sphere of early villagers. It seems that plants, and particularly those that would be domesticated a few millennia later during the Neolithic, played an increasingly important role in shaping the identity of early villagers. In relation to the Neolithic transition, these suggestions that the origins of this long-term phenomenon lie in the emergence of sedentary lifestyle within the Natufian culture. The French archaeologist Jacques Covin proposed that the shift to farming was preceded by advancements in human thought. The idea is that a spiritual transformation led Neolithic communities to perceive themselves as more and more distinct from nature, and therefore able to control it. Last year, Davin co-authored a study on a clay figurine found in northern Israel. The artifact, which depicts a woman with a goose on her back, was found at the site of a Natufian village, where residents once hunted gazelles, practiced weaving, and collected flint and limestone, reported Reuters' Will Dunham in November 2025. Lore Grossman, an archaeologist at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, was also a co-author of both studies. She told Reuters that the figurine was evidence that the sedentary lifestyle generated major transformations in social structures, both between humans and their surrounding environment, which then led to major transformations in storytelling, symbolic expression, and artistic techniques. This next article comes to us from Yale Environment 360. Long overlooked as crucial to life, fungi start to get their due. By Jim Robbins, March 12, 2026. Fungi create soil, sequester vast amounts of carbon, and contribute $55 trillion to the global economy. But knowledge about them is scarce. Now, mycologists are pushing to get the international scientific community to recognize fungi on the same level as plants and animals. Agarican is one of 2 endangered species of fungi in the United States. So rare is a species that scientists have placed samples of it in a biobank facility for safekeeping at the San Diego Zoo, in hopes that it can be propagated and one day reintroduced to the wild should its numbers continue to decline. Agaricon, or agarican, also known as quinine conch, is a large, round, or semicircular shelf fungus that grows on the bark of old-growth conifers in forests around the world. 2,000 years ago, a Greek physician called agaricon an elixir of long life. For centuries, it has been used to treat tuberculosis, rheumatism, asthma, cancer, and inflammation, among other maladies. Research confirms the fungus has robust healing properties. It contains powerful antimicrobial, antiviral, and anti-cancer compounds. It has also recently been found to potentially reduce side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine and enhance immunity. Yet the species' future is in doubt. In the past 100 years, it's declined 70%, and we don't have evidence that decline is stopping, said Jessica Allen, lead mycologist with NatureServe, a Virginia-based nonprofit concerned with biodiversity protection. The Pacific Northwest is the last stronghold. There are as many as 12 million species of fungi, yet there are just 155,000 or so known species, leaving vast numbers undescribed. The reason that only 2 fungi species in the US are classified as endangered is not because other fungi populations are healthy, but because knowledge of the world's mushrooms, mildews, lichens, mycorrhiza, and other fungi is extremely scant. Still, researchers know enough about their ecological functions to understand they are indispensable to most plant life. As many as 90% of plants use their roots to form symbiotic relationships with vast webs of mycorrhizal fungi to, among other things, increase their nutrient and water absorption by orders of magnitude beyond what soil alone can provide. Without this fungal web, my tree would not exist, wrote mycologist Merlin Sheldrake in his best-selling 2020 book, Entangled Life. Without similar fungal webs, no plant would exist anywhere. All life on land, including my own, depended on these networks. It's estimated that there are, on the low end, 2.2 million species, and on the high end, up to 12 million species of fungi in the world. Yet there are just 155,000 or so known species, leaving vast numbers undiscovered and undescribed. The lack of knowledge about the world's fungal kingdom, in spite of its essential role in maintaining life, has led to a campaign to elevate the importance of fungi to the same level as flora and fauna. Increased recognition, advocates say, would lead to greater inclusion of fungi in research, policy, and preservation considerations. Just 10% of the world's mycorrhizal hotspots, for example, occur in protected areas. They have a picture of an agaricon mushroom. Looks very cool. Might have to try to get that picture. The protection is needed. It's important, said Allen. Fungi play an important role in the ecosystem. We know a lot about fungi, but mycologists haven't been invited to the table to share their knowledge. Fungi are getting a good deal more attention in some quarters these days as scientists learn more about and publicize their role. In Entangled Life, Sheldrake explained the many facets of fungi, from their role in ecosystems to how they have shaped human culture and their unusual intelligence. Earlier this year, the Tyler Prize for Environmental Achievement, known as the Green Nobel Prize, was awarded to Toby Keers, an evolutionary biologist at Vrije University Amsterdam, for her work studying how plants, soil, and microbes are connected by mycorrhizal networks and how they draw carbon from plant roots in exchange for nutrients. She also shared a MacArthur Foundation Genius Grant in 2025 with Juliana Fursi, a mycologist in Chile who also heads the New York-based Fungi Foundation. The awards feel like an award for the invisible, Kears told the New York Times, and a celebration of decentralized ways of thinking and operating that fungi have mastered. Still, much of what fungi do remains a mystery. The whole concept of understanding functional roles in fungi is complicated because of their hidden nature, said Andrew Wilson, Associate Curator of Mycology at the Denver Botanic Gardens, who works to document fungal diversity and is part of the effort to Let's try that again. Said Andrew Wilson, Associate Curator of Mycology at the Denver Botanic Gardens, who works to document fungal diversity and is part of the effort to raise its profile. They are very cryptic. A plant is above ground, and you can see the differences between them. Mushrooms are underground and live within the tissues of other organisms, and what they are doing is hard to study. Every organism has a fungal component that is sustaining them. They are the firmament of life on Earth. And there we have it. Those are our 3 scientific articles for the night. I hope they helped you in your need to stay positive. I hope they help you at least get some sleep or stay up and think about some things. As always, my name is Stoneman, aka Travis, and thank you for joining the podcast. I appreciate every listener. I appreciate every viewer. Good night, and have a wonderful tomorrow.